Good morning, students. Welcome back to middle school webinar sessions. Today we have chemistry session, and the chemistry session is delivered presented by Sridevi Madam, Principal, TSMS, Hoodool. In the previous sessions of organic chemistry for the senior inter, Madam explained us about the alcohols. In that, she explained about introduction, preparation, and also the properties. Today, let us learn about differentiation between primary, secondary, as well as tertiary alcohols. And we also let us learn about phenols too. Okay, I welcome Sridevi Madam. Good morning, Madam.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning. So thank you, ma'am.
Please take over the session.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Good morning, dear students. Once again, welcome you all for the chemistry webinar. And it's the time for the alcohols. And then we will move to phenols and then ethers, children. So in our previous classes, we have learned about the introduction of alcohols, classification of alcohols into different types. See, based on the nature of carbon atom, they are divided into primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. And then depending upon the sp3 and sp2 hybridization, we have learned about the classification of alcohols, isn't it? And then we learned about the isomerism. See, the structural isomerism and the stereoisomerism. And then we learn about the nomenclature of alcohols and then the preparations of alcohols. There is a laboratory methods of preparations of alcohols. And then in my last class, I explained you how these alcohols are manufactured on a larger scale by different commercial methods. See, there is a fermentation of molasses and then from starch. Okay, so then I have explained you about the methanol and then the industrial alcohols also. So today I'm going to explain how these primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols can be distinguished. Okay, so let us move into the session. So the first step is the oxidation. See, by the oxidation reaction, we can distinguish these alcohols. Means we can differentiate the primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. See how these are distinguished or differentiated by this oxidation. Let us learn now. See, what is a primary alcohol? RCH2OH is a primary alcohol. See, a primary alcohol on oxidation gives an aldehyde. Okay, on oxidation gives an aldehyde. This on further oxidation gives a carboxylic acid. Right. So let us move to the secondary alcohol. So this is a secondary alcohol. So a secondary alcohol on oxidation gives a ketone. What does it give? It gives a ketone. And it also on further oxidation gives a carboxylic acid. A carboxylic acid. And let us take a tertiary alcohol. Right? So RCRROH is a tertiary alcohol. Now, this on oxidation gives a ketone again. So, it also gives a ketone. And then this on further oxidation gives a carboxylic acid. See, what is the meaning of writing this oxygen in brackets? See, it shows the nascent oxygen, which is responsible for the oxidation. What is oxidation? Addition of oxygens. And then we can say that removal of hydrogens also takes place, right? So then it also gives a carboxylic acid. Then how to identify the primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols, children? So I will tell you how to identify this. Okay. Then see, a primary alcohol on oxidation gives an aldehyde. Okay, which on further oxidation gives a carboxylic acid containing same number of carbon atoms. Okay, what is it? Containing same number of carbon atoms. Both of them contain same number of carbon atoms. Okay, containing same number of carbon atoms. So hope you are all writing the notes, children. Okay. So I hope you won't disappoint us, right? See, because we are taking a lot of efforts and pain to deliver these sessions, children. Okay, so everyone is working very hard to make this webinar a successful one, right? So then, see, this is a secondary alcohol, isn't it? A secondary alcohol on oxidation gives a ketone, right? So which on oxidation gives a carboxylic acid. Now, what is the difference? Let us see. So the difference is here, so it gives a ketone which is having same number of carbons, but it gives a carboxylic acid containing less number of carbon atoms. Less number of carbon atoms. Understood? So I hope you are able to understood this. Carbon atoms. Okay, Nana? Right. So now let us move to the case of a tertiary alcohol. A tertiary alcohol on oxidation gives a ketone. So what does it give? It gives a ketone. And then it further gives a carboxylic acid on oxidation. RCOOH is a carboxylic acid. But what is the difference? So it gives a ketone and carboxylic acid where both of them contains less number of carbon atoms. So both containing less number of carbon atoms. That is the difference between the primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Both containing less number of carbon atoms. Okay, I think it is clear for you now. So this is the first reaction by which we can identify a primary, secondary and tertiary alcohol. The primary alcohols on oxidation give a aldehyde which on further oxidation gives a carboxylic acid. So both of them containing same number of carbon atoms. Whereas a secondary alcohol on oxidation gives a ketone, okay, which on further oxidation gives a carboxylic acid containing less number of carbon atoms. Whereas a tertiary alcohol on oxidation gives ketone and on further oxidation gives a carboxylic acid where both of them containing less number of carbon atoms. Okay, so then let me write out the oxidizing agent also here. Okay, so what is the oxidizing agent which we use here? So it is nothing but acidified potassium permanganate. So acidified potassium permanganate is the oxidizing agent which is used in this reaction. So this is the first reaction, children. So it's very simple and it is very important for your competitive examinations. That is for your JEE mains and also for your NEET examination. Okay. So now let us move to the second test by which we can identify this primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. So it is Lucas reagent. What reagent? Lucas reagent. See, what is this Lucas reagent? I will tell you. So a mixture of concentrated HCl, and anhydrous zinc chloride. Anhydrous zinc chloride is called as Lucas reagent. What is Lucas reagent? Lucas reagent is a mixture of concentrated HCl and anhydrous. Anhydrous means without water molecules. Okay. Anhydrous zinc chloride is called as Lucas reagent. See, by using this Lucas reagent, we can identify a primary alcohol, secondary alcohol, and tertiary alcohol. See how to identify? Let us see now. So then, a primary alcohol, when treated with Lucas reagent, so primary alcohol, okay, so primary alcohol when treated with Lucas reagent, okay, gives no turbidity. It gives no turbidity. Turbidity means the solution will be, it won't be in a clear manner. So that's called as turbidity. Okay, so primary alcohol gives no turbidity with Lucas reagent. Done. So now let us see the case of a secondary alcohol. A secondary alcohol gives turbidity after 5 to 10 minutes. Turbidity after 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, 5 to 10 minutes. Right. Now let us see the tertiary alcohol. A tertiary alcohol gives immediate turbidity. Gives immediate turbidity. It gives immediate turbidity. Okay. So this is the test with the Lucas reagent. What is Lucas reagent? Lucas reagent is a mixture of concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride. Anhydrous zinc chloride. So primary alcohol gives no turbidity with the Lucas reagent, whereas secondary alcohol gives turbidity after 5 to 10 minutes, and tertiary alcohol gives immediate turbidity. So this is the very important test for your objective examination, children. So please remember. So a mixture of concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride is called as Lucas reagent. What reagent, Nana? Lucas reagent. And then let us move to the next one, that is Victor-Meyer's test. What is it? Victor-Meyer's test. So let me write this. Victor-Meyer's test. So I hope you are able to understand my handwriting, children. So Victor-Meyer's test. See, what is this Victor-Meyer's test? I will tell you. Alcohol. Okay. So I'm giving in a brief manner to as such you can remember it very easily, right? Alcohol plus red phosphorus, okay, plus iodine plus silver nitride, AgNO2 plus HNOH, NaOH. So this is the reagent which we add for an alcohol in Victor-Meyer's test. Now, how can we differentiate this primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols? Let us see now. Okay, so we'll go for another color. So then, red coloration appears with primary alcohols. Red coloration with primary alcohols. Okay, then blue coloration. Okay, so what coloration? Blue coloration with secondary alcohols. Okay, blue coloration with secondary alcohols. Then don't show any color, no color with tertiary alcohols. Okay, no color with tertiary alcohols. Yes. So this is the Victor-Meyer's test. So when you add red phosphorus, iodine, and silver nitride, and HNO3 and NaOH, right? So you will get red coloration with primary alcohols, blue colorations with the secondary alcohols, and no color with the tertiary alcohols. So this is called as a Victor-Meyer's test. What is it? Victor-Meyer's test. So let me recapitulate quickly how to distinguish this primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. So the primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols can be distinguished, right? Can be three tests. Oxidation, okay, and then the second one is Lucas test. The third one is the Victor-Meyer's test. So what is the first one? Oxidation. So when primary alcohol is oxidized by using acidified means in the presence of an acid, acidified potassium permanganate, it gives aldehyde, and on further oxidation gives carboxylic acid, both containing same number of carbon atoms, okay. Whereas a secondary alcohol on oxidation gives a ketone, which on further oxidation gives a carboxylic acid containing less number of carbons, right? And tertiary alcohol gives a ketone and a carboxylic acid where both of them contain less number of carbon atoms, like primary, secondary, and tertiary by using the oxidation reaction. And this is the Lucas reagent. A mixture of concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride is called as Lucas reagent. See, what is this Lucas test? Primary alcohols gives no turbidity. Secondary alcohols gives turbidity after 5 to 10 minutes. See, I told you what is the meaning of turbidity. So the solution, like it won't be in a clear manner. That's called as a turbidity, right? So it gives no turbidity, whereas secondary alcohols gives turbidity after 5 to 10 minutes. And then tertiary alcohols gives immediate turbidity, right? So this is the Lucas test. And then the third one, Victor-Meyer's test. So by using the Victor-Meyer's test, red coloration with primary alcohols, blue coloration for secondary alcohols, and no color with tertiary alcohols, right? So remember, these three tests are very important for your objective sessions, right? That is for your NEET examination and for your JEE mains. Okay. So now let us move to the next one. That is the another hydroxy compound, that is phenols. What is it? Phenols. So then, what are these phenols? Let us learn now. So this is the phenol. What is this? Phenol. C6H5OH. C6H5OH. So phenol is also called as carbolic acid. What acid? Carbolic acid. So it is also called as carbolic acid, right? Carbolic acid, carbolic acid, carbolic acid. Okay, so please remember now. So let us move to the phenols. So what are phenols? Phenols are the hydroxy compounds where the OH group is directly attached to the aromatic ring. Okay, so phenols are the hydroxy compounds. What are they? Compounds where the OH group is attached to the aromatic ring. Is attached to the aromatic ring. Okay, aromatic ring, right? So then we can name this as the phenols are named as the derivatives of simplest members of the family, right? C6H5OH. Now let us move to the classification. What is it? Classification. Okay. See here, they are directly attached to the aromatic nucleus here, right? So classification of phenols. So phenols are classified into mono, okay, di, tri, or polyhydroxy compounds. Means the polyhydroxy phenols. Polyhydroxy compounds. Okay, mono means one, di means two, tri means three, poly means many. So now I will write, so different types of phenols, you just write down them. Okay, so then see, three trihydroxy derivatives of benzene are known. They are pyrogalol, I will write here, three hydroxy derivatives, hydroxy derivatives of phenols, hydroxy derivatives of benzene are known. Benzene are known. So what are they? Let us see now. So the first one is okay. So this is OH, 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 right? So what is this? So we'll go for another color. 1, 2, 3 trihydroxy benzene. Trihydroxy benzene or pyrogalol. Pyrogalol. Okay, now, so this is the first one. Now let us move to the second one. So what is the second one? The second one is, okay, right? OH, OH here, and then OH at this position. So what is this? So this is 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4 trihydroxybenzene. Trihydroxybenzene or hydroxyquinol. What is the name? Hydroxyquinol. So hydroxyquinol. Hydroxyquinol. Okay, right. Now, see, let us go for the third one. Okay, so what is the third one? So this is our benzene nucleus, isn't it? Yes, this is the 1, and then this is a 3, okay, and then this is a 5. So 1, 3, 5 trihydroxybenzene. 1, 3, 5 trihydroxybenzene. So trihydroxybenzene. And what is the other name for this? See, the other name for this is, okay, see, the other name for this is fluoroglucinol. Fluoroglucinol. Right? So then, so we have started phenol, children. So what are phenols? Phenols are the hydroxy compounds where the OH group is attached to the aromatic ring. Okay, C6H5OH. What is C6H6? Benzene. So the hydrogen atom of benzene is replaced with the OH group. Then coming to the classification. See, they are classified into mono, di, tri or polyhydroxy compounds. And then 3 hydroxy derivatives of benzene are known. What are they? So pyrogalol, hydroxyquinol and fluoroglucinol. Fluoroglucinol. Okay. So then coming to the next one. Okay, children. So now let us move to the different types of phenols and their IUPAC nomenclature and all. Let us learn that. Okay, children. So now, so I will write the name of the molecule and then the common name, the IUPAC name. We just copy down. Okay. So 1 minute. Right. So what is this? Phenol. Phenol. Okay. Phenol is the common name. Common name. And then, so the IUPAC name. What is the IUPAC name for this? See, the IUPAC name is also phenol. Now, another structure. Let us go for the another one. Okay. See this. So this is CH2OH. So it is also an aromatic alcohol. So the name of this is benzyl alcohol. What is this? Benzyl alcohol. Benzyl alcohol. Okay. So let us go for another color. Right. So Jen, what is the name of this? So phenyl methanol. Okay. Phenyl methanol. Right. Phenyl methanol. Then another compound. So I'll give you a few compounds which are very important, children. So this is the common name of this is ordocresol. Okay, sorry. So let us see, this is a methyl group, CH3, CH3, okay, ordocresol, because it is ortho position. This position is ortho, so it is ordocresol. And what is the IUPAC name? The IUPAC name is 2-methyl-phenol. 2-methyl-phenol. Okay, Nana? 2-methyl-phenol. So then coming to the next one. So this is OH. This is CH3. Now what is this position? This is meta, isn't it? This is ortho, Nana. This is meta. This is para. So this is a metacresol. Metacresol. M means meta, Nana. O means ortho. Okay. So then what is the number here? So it's 3-methyl. 3-methyl phenol. Okay, ma? 3-methyl phenol. Now let us go for another compound. I hope you are able to understand how I am writing the names of this compound, children. So this is paracresol, right? This is the para position. So paracresol, right? Cresol. Cresol, paracresol. Then what is the numbering here? That's a 4-methyl phenol. 4-methyl phenol. Okay, yes. So now we have learned about the common names and IUPAC names of few compounds, that is phenols, right? So this is the structure, phenol. Okay, so this is benzyl alcohol, right? Phenyl methanol. This is ordocresol. This is 2-methyl phenol. This is metacresol, 3-methyl phenol, paracresol, 4-methyl phenol. Okay, so then 4-methyl phenol. So now let us see some more structures, right? So I will minimize this such that we can write few more structures here itself. Okay, then so this is a paracresol. Now we will write the another compound. This is OH and this is OH. See, the common name of this is catechol. Catechol. And then the IUPAC name of this is benzene 1,2 diol. Benzene 1,2 diol. Now another compound I will write here. So then this is OH, okay, and then another OH here. Resorcinol. 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 Yes. What is the numbering here? Benzene 1,3 diol. 1,3 diol. Hope everyone is writing these names. That is the common names and IUPAC names, children. See, for the benzene nucleus, if the substitution is present at this position, the next carbon, see the next center is ortho, the next one is a meta, the next one is para. Ortho, meta, para. So this is ordocresol, metacresol, paracresol. Okay. So then I will give you a few more compounds and we will move to the preparations of phenols, right? So now, so let us move to the preparation, sorry, another few more compounds of phenols. So we have completed resorcinol, isn't it? Now let us move to the another compound. So this is OH. Okay, this is hydroquinone. Hydroquinone. The common name of this is hydroquinone. So then the IUPAC name of this is benzene. This is one position, first position. This is the fourth position. Benzene 1,4 diol. Benzene 1,4 diol. And another compound I'm going to write. Okay. So then this is OH. Okay, so this is CH3 and this is CH3. Okay, children. So then this is 2,6 dimethyl 2,6. Here I am going to show you how to give the numbering. 2,6 dimethyl phenol. 2,6 dimethyl phenol. Why? Because see, this is a phenol, C6H5OH, and this is the second carbon, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So this is a 2,6 dimethyl phenol. So by this, we will close this IUPAC nomenclature, and then let us move to the preparation of phenols. So in this session, I hope I may complete you the preparations and properties of the phenols. And in my next session, I will complete ethers, children. So these are the compounds which contain the oxygen, right? So now let us learn the preparation of phenols. Okay, so preparation of phenols. Yes, preparation of phenols. So let us see how these phenols are prepared, right? So the first one is from cumene. What is it? Cumene. From cumene. What is cumene? I will tell you. Cumene is isopropyl benzene. Isopropyl benzene is cumene. Cumene. So from cumene, that is isopropyl benzene, right? So then how it is prepared from cumene, I will tell you. So what is cumene? Cumene is isopropyl benzene. 1 minute. So this is our benzene, right? So this is isopropyl group CH, CH3 and then CH3. Okay, CH, CH3 and then CH3. So what is this? This is cumene, isopropyl benzene. This is isopropyl group, children, isn't it? CH, CH3, CH3 dash. This is the isopropyl group. So cumene on oxidation, okay, means when it is on bubbling with oxygen, right? Cumene on oxidation, right? So it gives hydroperoxide. See, what is a peroxide? When a bond is present in between two oxygen atoms, we call it as a peroxide. What is it? Peroxide. See how to write a peroxide? COOH. I told you that when a bond is present in between two oxygen atoms, what we call it? Peroxide, peroxy linkage, peroxy bond. Okay. And what does it form? So it forms cumene hydroperoxide. Cumene hydroperoxide. See, right from my first session, I'm telling you to remember about the terminology, to understand the terminology, to understand the meaning of the terminology. So it gives cumene hydroperoxide. See, what is a peroxy bond? When a bond is present in between two oxygen atoms, it is called as a peroxy bond. Cumene hydroperoxide. Very simple, right? So now, what is the other compound it gives now? So what happens then? So this cumene hydroperoxide on hydrolysis. Hydrolysis means water, H2O, and in the presence of acid, so H plus. Okay. Yes. Now, what does it give? So it gives our phenol and then phenol, right? C6H5OH. What is this? Phenol plus a byproduct is obtained here. What is it? Acetone, propanone. What is the IUPAC name? Propanone. How many carbons? 3 carbons. Okay, so when it contains 3 carbons, remember, we call it as prop, and it is a ketone, propanone. Okay, children, propanone. So this is the first preparation from cumene. So what is cumene? Cumene is nothing but isopropyl benzene. Isopropyl benzene on oxidation gives cumene hydroperoxide. peroxide. Okay, cumene hydroperoxide. This cumene hydroperoxide on hydrolysis in the presence of an acid. Okay, in the presence of an acid means we will show it by means of H plus ion, isn't it? So then it gives phenol and acetone. Acetone is a byproduct here, right? So when another product is formed along with the main one, we call it as a byproduct. What is it? Byproduct. So then now let us move to the second preparation. So the second one is from haloarenes. Haloarenes. Nana, what are arenes? Arenes are aromatic hydrocarbons. Arenes are aromatic hydrocarbons. Haloarenes means, so when a halogen is being replaced with the hydrogen of arene, it is called as haloarenes. And this process is having a special name, children. So Dow's process, okay, Dow's, D-O-W-S, Dow's process, okay, Dow's process. Remember Dow's process from haloarenes, right? So here we are going to take chlorobenzene, haloarene. What are halogens? The 7A group elements are called as halogens. So I'm taking chlorobenzene, haloarene. Understood? Halo means chloro, arene, benzene. Simple. Now this on heating with a base. What is a base here? NaOH. Sodium hydroxide is alkali which is used. Alkali, or we call it as a base at 623 Kelvin temperature and 300 atmospheres pressure. 300 atmospheres pressure. See, what does it forms? It forms sodium phenoxide. Sodium phenoxide. Okay, so O minus Na plus. O minus Na plus. This is sodium, Nana. This is phenoxide. Sodium phenoxide. We will write here. Sodium phenoxide. Okay, now this on treatment with an acid, HCl. What does it forms? Simple. So it forms our phenol, which is a desired compound. What we are going to prepare now, isn't it? So phenol. Okay. So this is the second preparation of phenols. So from haloarenes. So the first one is from cumene, that is isopropyl benzene, and the second one is from haloarenes. And this process is called as Dow's process. What is it? Dow's process. Chlorobenzene, when treated with a base, that is NaOH, at 623 Kelvin and the presence of 300 atmospheres pressure, gives sodium phenoxide, which on treatment with an acid gives phenol. Okay, right. Now let us see the remaining preparations of phenols, children. Okay, so then the next preparation is from sodium salt of okay, sodium. The third preparation is from sodium salt of sulfonic acid. Sodium salt of sulfonic acid. Sodium salt of sulfonic acid. Okay, Nana? Sodium salt of sulfonic acid. Right? So that now, so this is our sulfonic acid. Okay. Now let us come from the beginning of this reaction. How sulfonic acid is obtained. See, what is this, children? Yes, benzene. C6H6. Okay. Now, when it is treated with oleum, what is oleum? A mixture of sulfuric acid and sulfur trioxide. H2S2O7. Oleum. So what does it give? It gives benzene sulfonic acid. So benzene sulfonic acid. Benzene sulfonic acid. I will write here. So benzene sulfonic acid. So this benzene sulfonic acid on hydrolysis in the presence of a base, NaOH. First it is treated with NaOH. Okay, so we call it as a fusion, right? What is it? Fusion. So benzene sulfonic acid on fusing with sodium salt gives our phenol. What does it give? So first it will give sodium phenoxide. What does it give? Sodium phenoxide, like this. O-N-A. Okay. Sodium phenoxide. Right? So this sodium phenoxide, okay, what does it when it is treated with sodium phenoxide gives phenol. Right? So these are the different steps which are present in this reaction. Finally, we got our phenol. So benzene on sulfonation gives benzene sulfonic acid, which on treatment with the base NaOH gives sodium phenoxide, and which on treatment with HCl gives phenol. Right? So this is the third preparation of phenols. Now let us move to the next preparation. Right? So then this preparation is from coal tar. What is it? Coal tar. Coal tar. Right? From coal tar. Now, how is it prepared from coal tar? Let us see. Coal tar. See, phenol was first isolated from the middle oil fraction of coal tar. See, coal tar has a different oil of fractions, that is a lower oil fraction, middle oil fraction, and the higher oil fraction. So this is first isolated. This is first isolated. See, I'm not leaving any single preparation, Nana. This is first isolated from the middle oil fraction. Middle oil fraction. Middle oil fraction of coal tar. Okay, of coal tar. Right? There. See, now we have discussed about the preparations of phenols, right? Now let us move to the next one. See, here I want to tell you something in this from sodium salt of sulfonic acid, children. Yes. See this? See, here we have used a word. I told you that on fusion, isn't it? So this sodium, 1 minute. See, I will show you the entire mechanism. That's why I'm erasing this. Okay, I will show you. Please see. See, this is what you will get. I will tell you. This is our 1 minute. We will get actually when it is treated with sodium hydroxide, you will get sodium C6H5 SO3Na. See, that's what I want to show you, such that SO3Na, right? So then, and it is this SO3Na, sodium salt of sulfonic acid on treatment fusion with NaOH. We can call it as a fusion, right? So you will get our phenol. As we are using the word fusion, OH plus Na2SO3. Na2SO3. Okay, right. So now, let us move to the last preparation of this. See, from diazonium salts. See, the last preparation is from diazonium salts. Diazonium. When a bond is present between two nitrogen atoms, we call it as diazo bond, diazonium salts. See how phenol is obtained from diazonium salts? Let us see. So this is our aniline. Aniline, aminobenzene is called as aniline. Aniline or aminobenzene. Aniline, when treated with sodium nitrite and HCl, NaNO2 and HCl, okay, at 0 to 5 degrees centigrade, right? It gives benzene diazonium chloride. What does it give? Benzene diazonium chloride. The name benzene diazonium chloride. Benzene diazonium chloride. So this benzene diazonium chloride on steam distillation, right? Plus H2O. So steam distillation means heat, okay? Right? Steam distillation gives our phenol, our desired compound. Phenol, C6H5OH plus HCl and then nitrogen is liberated. So this is from diazonium salts. See, this benzene diazonium chloride is also called as diazonium salt. Diazonium salt. As it contains the cation and anion, it is called as a salt one. The diazonium salt, as it contains the N2 plus Cl minus diazonium chloride, benzene diazonium chloride. So this is the last preparation of phenols, and then let us move to the properties of phenols. Okay. So then coming to the properties of phenols. So I hope I may not complete the entire topic here, children, but I will try to finish whatever I may teach you within the session, right? So properties of phenols. So the first one is phenols are relatively more soluble in water. So they are more soluble in water. More soluble in water due to their ability to form hydrogen bonding. Due to the formation of hydrogen bonding. See, whenever you come across the term solubility, please remember whether they can form hydrogen bond or not. What is a hydrogen bond? See, it's a bond between the hydrogen atom and highly electronegative atoms, isn't it? So it is more soluble in water due to the formation of hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding with water. Okay. Hydrogen bonding with water, right? So then coming to the next one, see this phenols, when their mass increases, means when the hydrocarbon part increases, when the hydrocarbon part increases, 1 minute, part increases in size, increases in size and mass, what happens? Solubility decreases. Solubility decreases. Okay, Nana? Solubility decreases. Yes. So the first one is they are more soluble in water due to the formation of hydrogen bonding with water. Right? So then phenols, when the hydrocarbon part increases in size and mass, the solubility decreases. Right. So the most important one is coming to the acidic nature of phenol. See, this is also very, very important for your objective type of examinations. Acidic nature of phenol. What is it? Acidic nature of phenol, children. So phenols are also acidic in nature, right? See, we know that alcohols and alcohols reacts with sodium metal and they liberate hydrogen, isn't it? See, like that, phenols also reacts with sodium metal which is an active metal and liberates hydrogen, which indicates the acidic property of phenols, right? See, like alcohols, CrOH is an alcohol. Reacts with metallic sodium. What does it form? It forms sodium alkoxide. And what is liberated? Hydrogen gas is liberated, right? So then, like this, phenols also reacts with sodium metal. So we will take both the reactions. So this is our phenol, okay, C6H5OH plus Na, okay, we will take 2 moles, right? So this also 2 moles again here. So what does it you get? You will get sodium phenoxide. See, this is a phenol, isn't it? So we call it as a sodium phenoxide. Sodium, this is phenyl group. When you club with oxygen, we call it as phenoxide. How many moles? 2 moles of sodium phenoxide and hydrogen is liberated. So this reaction indicates that phenols are acidic in nature. This is our phenol. This is the sodium. This is sodium phenoxide. Sodium phenoxide. Just the application of knowledge and subject, children. Sodium phenoxide. This is sodium alkoxide. Alkoxide. And these two reactions shows us alcohols and phenols are acidic in nature. They are acidic in nature. Okay. So then coming to the next one. So here phenols also reacts with aqueous NaOH. Phenols plus aqueous NaOH. Okay, and then they produce the salt. What do they produce? Salt and water. Salt and water. So let us see the reaction. So phenol reacts with aqueous NaOH. Aqueous NaOH. And what does it forms? So it forms sodium phenoxide. That is a salt I mentioned above. Sodium phenoxide. Okay, Nana? Sodium phenoxide. Sodium phenoxide and water plus H2O. Okay, right. So this is the second one. Now, see, phenols are, this is the most important, more acidic than alcohols. Phenols are more acidic than alcohols. Remember, they are more acidic than alcohols because the phenoxide ion is stabilized by resonance, isn't it? Because the phenoxide ion is the phenoxide ion is resonance stabilized. The phenoxide ion is resonance stabilized. Okay, resonance stabilized. Right. So then, what is resonance? The phenomenon of writing two or more structures for a single compound. But none of the structures independently can explain its entire properties. That is called as resonance. See, in benzene, there is resonance due to which it is more stable. So presence of this resonance makes phenols also more stable, right? So let me write the resonating structures of phenol. Okay, see, don't worry and don't get panicked by seeing all the structures. See, I should explain all the reactions and properties. That's why I'm showing this to you. But there is a, you won't get any question from this for your IPE exam. So you may feel very free and happy, right? But for your objective, it is a very important, children. See, these are all applications. So this is our phenol and then, okay, so phenol, right? So H plus. Now I'm showing the resonance stabilized structures of phenol. So write like this. So let me write inside also the 3 double bonds here. 1 minute. So benzene has 3 double bonds, isn't it? Yes, it has 3 double bonds. 1, 2, 3. Right? So now what happens? This is our OH group. Okay. So then this H plus is last here. Right? So this is O, which contains 3 lone pairs. See this, 3 lone pairs. And then, so this is the resonance stabilization. Right? So this is the electron displacement. What do you call? Electron displacement. Okay. So then now another structure. Now I will show you all the electron displacements. Okay. So then like this. Okay. Now this is the another electron displacement from this position. And this is the delocalization of electrons, right? Okay. So now how many lone pairs? 2 lone pairs here because one lone pair is shifted to this position. Now, and what is another structure? So another structure. Okay. So then this is the another one, double bond. Okay. So this is the minus. Okay. Right. So then how it is moving here? Like this, the electron displacement. Now here double bond O, okay. So 2 lone pairs, right? So then this is shifted towards like this. Now see, these are all the resonating structures. And then what is another structure? How to write? So I'm giving the lecture very slowly, children, such that you are able to understand this now. Okay. So then shifting of the bond again here, right? See, I didn't change the molecular formula or anything. Just I'm drawing different structures for a single compound. See, that's what in the definition I told you that what is it? Resonance is a phenomenon in which 2 or more structures can be drawn for a single compound where none of the structures individually can explain its entire properties. See, that is called as resonance, isn't it? Yes. See, finally we got our structure, that is phenoxide ion, C6H5O minus. Understood? So this is so that's why this phenol is more stable, okay, because of resonance. So phenol is more stable because of resonance. So these are the resonance stabilized phenoxide ions. Okay, Nana? Now, so then I will take 5 more minutes and I will wind off the class, right? So the presence of, please remember, it's very important, presence of the electron withdrawing groups. Electron withdrawing groups means there are some groups which withdraw the electrons, right? Electron withdrawing groups, like what are those groups? So nitro group, nitro, okay. So then cyano group, carboxylic group, COOH, right? And then what is it? So the tertiary amine group R3N, okay. So then, okay, so plus 1 minute, and then the sulfonic group SO3H, okay. So when such groups are present, they will increase the acidic nature. Remember, increases the acidic nature, acidic strength of phenols, increases the acidic strength of phenols. Okay. Now, see, let us see what happens when electron releasing groups are present. Presence of electron releasing groups. presence of electron releasing groups. Electron releasing groups means these groups will release electrons. They won't withdraw electrons. Like, what are those groups? See, what are the electron releasing groups? Yes, the alkyl group. What is it? Methyl group, CH3, then alkoxide, OR, then ammonia. Okay, so then this trialkyl amide NR3. So what do they like? They will release electrons, decreases. See, when such groups are present, so they will decreases the acidic strength of phenols. Acidic strength of phenols. Okay, Nana? Acidic strength of phenol. Right. So then, so the presence of electron withdrawing groups like nitro group, cyano group, carboxylic group, sulfonic acid group, they will increase the acidic strength. Whereas when electron releasing groups like methyl group, alkoxide group, ammonia group, and trialkyl amine group, they will decrease the acidic strength of phenol. So phenols are more acidic than alcohols, please remember. But when such groups like electron withdrawing groups or like electron releasing groups are present, what happens also, I have explained you children. And then let me move to the last part of this. See, the greater the dissociation constant, please remember, the greater the dissociation constant. So what is it? The greater the dissociation constant, Ka. What is Ka? Dissociation constant of an acid. See, the greater the dissociation constant of an acid, stronger will be the acid. Stronger is the acid. Please remember, Nana. This is a very important part of this. Stronger is the acid. You will get a question regarding the comparison of the acidic strength, right? So stronger is the acid and smaller is the pKa value. pKa. So pKa is the dissociation constant of the, like what is pH? The negative logarithm of H plus ion concentration, isn't it? So smaller is the, and the smaller is the pKa value. So, right? So please remember this. The greater the dissociation constant of an acid, stronger is the acid, and the smaller is the pKa value, and the smaller is the pKa value. Please, please remember this. It's very important. So don't get confused. So I hope I'm clear from my side, children. So once again, I will explain this to you. Please listen to me. The greater the dissociation constant of an acid, stronger will be the acid, and smaller will be its pKa value. See, just I'll give an example to you. So please see this. Let us see the pKa values of few compounds, and then I will give the order of acidic strength also. See, picric acid. Picric acid. Picric acid is greater than 2,4 dinitrophenol. 2,4 dinitrophenol. Okay. So then which is greater than 4 nitrophenol. 4 nitrophenol. And which is greater than phenol. Which is greater than phenol. Okay. And which is greater than 4-methylphenol, which is greater than 4-methylphenol. 4-methylphenol. Okay. So then what you have to remember, please listen to me. So the greater the dissociation constant of an acid, okay, stronger is the acid, and then smaller is the pKa value. Okay. So please remember this, right? So this is the acidic nature of phenols. And in this class, children, we will have learned how to differentiate the alcohols. Alcohols are differentiated by means of 3 tests. See, the first one is oxidation, the second one is Lucas test, the third one is the Victor-Meyers test. And then we have moved to the like what are phenols and how they are classified. Okay, so how they are classified and how they are prepared, and then I taught you regarding the acidic nature of phenol. And in my tomorrow session, children, I will teach you about the properties of phenols and also ethers, right? What are ethers? Ethers are alkoxy alkanes, right? So they are also the compounds which contains oxygen atom. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, madam. It was very informative and elaborative session.
Thank you,
Children,
ma'am.
please do write the running notes. And if you have missed anything, revisit the channel again and again and make a complete notes so that it will be very useful for your IP as well as for the other competitive exams. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.